All right, health warriors. So in my previous video, I talked about, like 3 or 4 days ago, I talked about pranayama breathing, Hindu breathing. It's also very close to kundalini breathing in the yogic traditions. So let me show you the breathing. Also, I'll talk about some of the books I recommend in the past videos, but I didn't go too much in depth. So the breathing, the pranayama breathing, is basically inhale fairly deep and exhale quickly. Inhale normal, but a little bit deep, right? So pretty much normal, and then exhale quickly. Here we go. It's like a pump. You're basically you're inhaling through your nose and exhaling quickly. You get kind of lightheaded. It's very dramatic. It creates a lot of heat, and it's sometimes for some people can actually release emotions, and they might get angry, they get joyful. Wherever your state is, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. But you do basically like start with five breaths and do 3 sets, so 15 total breaths. And then what you want to do, let me do it again real quick. And then you hold as long as you can. Could be 20 seconds, could be a minute. You want to work up to a minute or more. It can really help your lung capacity. It can help you with holding breath underwater. Navy SEALs, some of the best Navy SEALs can hold their breath for about 4 to 4.5 minutes, some 5. And so that's the breathing. It's really good for your immune system, exercising. So the breathing, the drinking dark chocolate twice a day for 1 month or more, hopefully more, can increase stem cells. Green tea can increase stem cells, so on and so forth. So the other part of this is the books, Pharmacology with an F. I talked more about soil, but it's more than just soil. This Dr. Daphne Miller lived with organic farmers and ranchers when she was a medical doctor to learn about farming. It's like, if I'm going to learn about food and nutrition, I better stay with a farm. So she stayed with a farmer 2 different times for 1 to 2 weeks. It completely changed her life. She had a whole viewpoint on farming. She felt better. And later on, it was a profound experience for her. She just felt better. Food tasted better. She loved the interaction with the farmer and his family, loved being with the animals, loved being out in nature. But she had some patients that were having a hard time healing. And a lot of times they'd follow her programs, and there's stubborn healers, like maybe 5 or 10% of them. So what she had them do is she had them eat at least half of their food, if possible, locally, especially in the summertime. It's easier to do in the summertime. And that patient started getting better. The local food, because of environment, the transportation, nutrition, and also your body's used to the allergens in the soil and the air and those foods that are growing nearby. Local meaning less than 200 miles away from you, 250 miles. And also World's Healthiest Foods goes into how to cook food quickly, like 5 to 10 minutes, so you can eat healthier without taking too much time. It shows the nutritional profile of all the foods. Spinach is the healthiest food. Spinach and kale are way up there. It shows all the breakdown of the foods. It talks about certain foods that are nutritious that have a lot of oxalates that bind with minerals. You can cook those out. You don't want to eat a lot of those foods very often, but you can steam or boil or cook them. It talks about charring your food too much. That could be harmful. That could be carcinogenic. Grilling food a lot can be really harmful to you, especially if you're charring the meat. So reduce that greatly. That book, and then the mycelium book goes into how mushrooms can remediate toxins, and they could do that in our body too. Most of us have a lot of toxins, like heavy metals and plastics, things like that. And mushrooms will actually bioaccumulate those things and get rid of them through our digestive process. And we'll either excrete them through our fecal matter or through our urine. I'm trying to remember any other books I mentioned in there. Oh, the Okinawa program just studies the history of the Okinawans, and the first person they come across, he is, they thinking it's the father. They said, "How old are you?" He said, "I'm like 78. They said, "Well, you're the such and such." "No, that's my father. He's out on the horse." He was 103. He was out plowing a field with a horse at 103. He does that for 3 or 4 hours a day, about 3 or 4 days a week. And so they did all these studies on him and found out that his heart was the heart of a 70-year-old at 103. Nervous system was a 65-year-old. They actually had a woman that was 92 that was climbing trees occasionally, like every once in a while. They didn't believe her, so they asked her, and she climbed up about 15 feet up a tree. And she even did that with a bad hip from an injury from like 20 years earlier. So that's Okinawan program. They look at their culture and how they love getting older as long as they're healthy, because they have so much wisdom, and they're storytellers, and they're very much part of the community and honored sometimes as much, if not more, than the young, the teenagers, depending on what each person's providing for society. It's just very interesting. In the purple, their Japanese or the Okinawan sweet potato, I think it's purple. That's one of their staple foods. They've had famines before a long time ago, and they survived on that for several years, just like the Irish potato famine, where they just lived on potatoes. It's not ideal, but you can do it for 1 to 3 years potentially. Depends on your biochemistry. But that's a little bit more information to go upon. I apologize for not going on about that. I didn't have much time, and I was just getting passionate about the next book. So have a blessed night, and we'll talk to you soon. And if you're listening, Jack, don't stay up too late. God bless.